Hello, friends, and welcome to Pathologic Volume 4, Episode 16, where today we have a weird one for you. It's called Taj Mahal. I have seen one of these before, and I'm not quite sure I grasped it at the time. So we'll see if I can do a little bit better for you today. As always, you can play along with the links in the description. And before we get going, we will take a look at the rules. Taj Mahal is an unusual line drawing puzzle. We will draw straight lines connecting pairs of grid points to form squares, allowing non-orthogonal lines. Orthogonal being our word that means horizontal and vertical. As you can see in this example solution, we have squares that are at all sorts of odd angles in the grid. Squares may only touch at the corners, and all squares must form one connected network. So from any given square, we could go through the corners of those squares to reach any other square anywhere in our solution. Circles mark the centers of all squares drawn in the grid. So that's implying that there are exactly as many squares as there are circles in the puzzle, and that's going to be the center of each square that we find. And finally, a number in a circle represents how many other squares its square shares a corner with. A bit confusing there, but the example will clarify. This 3 in this big square here is saying that there are 3 other squares that this touches. So it's touching 1 at this corner and 2 at this corner for a total of 3. Those are the rules of Taj Mahal, so it's time to solve a puzzle. Today's Taj Mahal puzzle was set by Shye. I don't have a lot of background with this, so I am going to assume that what we want to do in this genre is look for the dots that are very close to each other, because I think they're going to be the most constrained. These two touch at an edge, and I believe that no matter how we draw our square, if it's larger than a single cell, these are going to overlap. And it's difficult for me to describe how I would prove that in a very rigorous manner, but I think it's pretty clear to me that this region and this region have to be just a single cell. Anything larger and the two will overlap. So that also gives us this one as being complete. It touches this one and nothing else. So this is going to have to touch another somewhere. Let's see if anything else is obviously constrained. A lot of boxes are going to have to touch this 5. What can touch this 2? I think it's probably going to have to be this one. Let's see if we can prove that. What else is even plausible? All of these would, out here, would cross this clue if we tried to. This is the only other one that looks anywhere near reasonable, and if we stretch it far enough to touch, it's going to go off the bottom of the grid. So it's got to be this one, and so it's going to have to touch right there, because it can't go down there. It would cross the other box. All right, so now this one, I think this is as big as it can get, because anything else, again, is going to touch this big square. So it does that. These two, I think, are both likewise constrained. Yeah, you can't grow any larger than that. Same thing here. All right, that puts some pressure on the rest of the grid, which is good. This one clue, I don't think I have enough to actually do it yet, but I do notice something about it, that it can't get that big. it can grow as much as this. Anything larger than that, it's going to touch more than one box. So it is either that square or that square. And this too is going to have to touch that square wherever it is, as well as this one. So I think it's going to have to go there. It can't go there because that would overlap again. So it does go there. And then in order to have it touch another square, this is going to have to grow as large as we said it could possibly go. This one doesn't touch this square because it's got its one that it was allocated, so it doesn't get this big. So therefore it is as small as it can get. And it will need to touch something, which is going to be this one. So this is going to have to grow to reach that corner. Now this 5 clue is suddenly the interesting thing, because in order to touch 5 boxes, how is it going to do that? It's going to have to reach these corners where it can touch 2 boxes at once. Like so. And then we can get the 5th one and final one from this dot, which can only grow 1 cell wide. And that is how we solve a Taj Mahal.